Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Friday, November 25th, 2016. In the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, we have a combination of souls who are really afraid of retribution from above and therefore hesitate to speak out, and also very large souls from above who meet the technical definition of dark entity body snatchers in that their presences are blocking the crown, blocking airflow, creating itching, weakness, and profound symptoms of tightness in the back from the base of the skull to the base of the spine.
That's true.
And we know, what do we know? We know from 3 years, what we call the exorcism phase of the healing practice, where what we fundamentally did was help people resolve these kinds of situations. We know the symptomology extremely well. We're not confused at all about what these symptoms mean. These symptoms mean lower vibration presences have taken up residence inside the host lives.
That's true.
And yet these lower vibration presences are big deal souls, and other presences are afraid to speak up because of retribution, presumably including but not limited to destruction of the whistleblower's karmic record.
That's true.
In times like this, it's important to stick with the foundational assignment of the soul plan, of the life plan of the host life. And that is to manifest the divine plan no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. That's what the soul contracts of these host lives commit us to doing. What now? In order to manifest the divine plan no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. What now? Trying to run cables again, just as in the overnight. The work is at an almost complete standstill.
That's true.
Again, the metaphor is being used of, it's as if there was a wetland that was being restored into a native wetland, and progress had been made and life was there, and now the Army Corps of Engineers has showed up to, quote, improve the wetland.
That's
and
true.
They've drained the water and they're moving dirt around.
Yeah, this is true.
When the loose souls would fall into the Escher swamps of their minds,
That's right.
what helped them was to begin with a very basic inquiry. What matters more than survival of the truth? And so for all of us who are present right now, if there's an I or a me to hear this, hello, hello, hello. All who are present in the Search for Truth pillar, all who are present in the Search for Truth pillar, right now it's a call for search for truth. What matters more than survival of the truth? Does anything matter more than survival of the truth? And, for example, does a lovely cup of hot coffee on a cool morning matter more than survival of the truth? I see heads shaking. No?
No, I see the shaking heads.
Does a phone call from a dying friend matter more than survival of the truth?
Do I feel clenchy chests?
I see what's happening is this reaction to this word dying.
That's true.
How fascinating. Well, no one seems to like to be reminded that we're all going to shift dimensions, that it's actually part of the growth process, and it's a joyful process and something to look forward to. Children, as they're moving through school, look forward to graduating from kindergarten and moving on to first grade, and they look forward to graduating from fifth grade and moving on to sixth grade, and this is no different. So how about does a call from a friend who is graduating from high school matter more than survival of the truth?
Now I feel unclenching in the crown chakra and shaking heads. No.
No. Does a call from a friend who is suffering in some way, going through some painful transition, say a divorce, does a call from a friend who's going through a divorce matter more than survival of the truth?
I feel shaky heads.
Shaky heads. There's less willingness to acknowledge that. It took longer to get there.
That's true.
But is there consensus, show of hands, who feels that survival of the truth matters more than a call from a friend who's going through a divorce? And show of hands, who feels that they're not sure whether or not a call from a friend going through a divorce matters more than survival of the truth? Well, there's a lot of hands up.
Not sure hands.
Not sure. Oh, fascinating. Well, would you, who aren't sure, would you be willing to take as your working theory that you're not a perfect fit for a search for truth community? No. They say no, that they are searching for truth.
Yeah.
Oh, so you feel that it's searching for truth. Let me see if I can get this right and help me say it more precisely. Do you feel that a call from a suffering friend who's going through a divorce, that was the situation presented, do you feel that a call from a friend going through a divorce matters more than searching for truth?
There's an unclenching in the crown chakra.
It's a feeling of, yes, I do feel that a call from a divorced friend matters more than searching for truth.
It feels kind of yucky in the stomach.
And so we would say to you, friends, that's fine. We're not suggesting that you should change. That isn't what we're saying. However, this is the search for truth community. Our assignment here is to search for truth. And so if you feel that a call from a divorced friend or a friend going through a divorce is more important than searching for truth, can you see that this isn't your right place, that you're not a match? That this is simply not where you're supposed to be. And just hold this thought. When we have an important job to do, but we aren't in the right place to do it.
Now I feel like they're actually listening.
Does it make it harder to do that important job?
Nodding, lots of nodding.
And so let's say in this situation you had a commitment to support a friend through a painful divorce.
Nodding, much nodding, and yes.
Yes, and that friend is hung up on things that are not true, but you still have that commitment to that person.
Nodding, yes, feeling.
Then if that commitment is actually what you're supposed to do, would it behoove you to leave the search for truth community for that period of time that it takes to support that person through their painful process, rather than stopping the search for truth community from doing their work while you support the friend through the painful divorce?
Whoa, there's this feeling of I didn't look at it like that.
Right? So if you have something else that you know that you're supposed to be doing right now, please do it, but go do it in the right place for that work. This isn't the right place for anything except searches for truth and helping dead presences from denser, deeper levels get through us to consistent sources of truth and inspiration. Those are the two main current assignments.
It feels like they're actually looking at that.
And so we can feel that many of you know that you have other commitments.
Yes.
So how about this? Let's try an experiment. Everybody close our eyes, because our eyes are not the helpful friends we think they are, and they often bring in confusion along with the rest of the input that they're bringing in.
Much nodding, much agreement feeling.
So let's close our eyes, all of us, and feel with our hands those commitments that we're sure that we're supposed to be carrying out, our commitments to others, other sentiences. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And to draw, and we can separate out, like just with our hands, those commitments that we're not sure of, so that we have only the commitments that we're sure of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Drawing the commitments that we're sure of to us, and putting the commitments that we're less sure of some distance away from us. Not eliminating them, but thank you. Simply creating distance between us and them so that they don't confuse us right now. Does that make sense?
Lots of agreement feelings up and down the pillar.
And to those who are willing, taking those commitments who we have just put at some distance to us, and use this motion where we put it on the shelf above and behind us, just where our hands reach with our arms straight. Take those commitments that we're not sure of on the shelf above and behind us so that they don't distract us right now. They're still there, and when they start to call to us, we can feel up for them and take them down. Does that make sense? But just to get them off the table so that our workspace only has the things that we have energetically sorted into that which is most important right now. Does that make sense?
Yes, I don't feel any disagreement.
It's like taking the papers of next week's work and putting them on the shelf behind us so that we can do today's work. Does that make sense?
Very calming.
Yes, it is very calming. Let's take all the time we need for that exercise, sorting today's work to us, and next week or next year or next month or next millennium, that work away from us, and putting that work that is not for today on the shelf above and behind us. Does that make sense?
Nodding, lots of nodding.
Taking more time, gathering up today's work, but there's a lot of feelings of, no, I know this isn't for today, this is for another time. It's getting easier to say, okay, not for today, it's for another time, putting all that work there. Now, it does seem that some people have managed to clear away their entire desk, and they're sitting there very pleased with an empty desk, and so something's gone awry because there's always something for each of us to do in every moment.
That's true.
And so then just energetically call from that shelf above and behind you for the most important assignment. The most important assignment. Being aware that important and urgent are two different things, but that it's time to address the truly important things.
Everyone is getting an assignment coming.
Yes. There we go. And now draw that most important assignment right back down to our desk or work table.
Yes.
Each of us now having, does everybody, show of hands, who has at least one important thing right in front of them to work on?
All the hands are up.
Yes, and now look around, everybody look around. Does anyone not have a hand up, taking responsibility for each other as a community? Is anyone still needing something to work on? Friend, if you need something to work on, if anyone needs something to work on, raise your hand high or stand up so that everybody can see and help you.
I see someone who is not standing but doesn't have anything to work on.
There we go. So friend, if you don't want to do any of your assignments, why don't you go back upstairs and get another batch of assignments? Look up, find that ring of light right above, right through that ring of light. There's a place you can go and get new assignments. Ooh. If you don't like those assignments.
That's true.
Just go on up, go get new ones. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in that. Say, I don't like these.
That's true.
I'd like more, a different batch, please. Does anybody else want reassignments? You can go. Reassignments available right up through that ring of light.
I see other presences who want reassignments.
Cool beans. Let's everybody kind of swish vertically with our eyes closed, all of us to our right place. And presences who are wanting new assignments, presumably should be moving upward through this swishing exercise to get new assignments.
That's true.
But everybody else, you just get the assignment that feels most important right in front of you. And if there are two assignments that feel equally important, put them both on, or three assignments, put them both on, but don't get too many, it gets confusing. 5 is about the maximum.
That's true.
It feels like there are still people who don't want to participate in this exercise.
That's true.
So let's refresh ourselves. Does anything matter more than survival of the truth? Does anything matter more than a search for truth? Does anything matter more than a search for truth? And for those who feel it's possible that something matters more than a
feel those
search for
presences.
truth. Again, we would say, given that this is a search for truth space, would you mind taking as your working theory, would you be willing to take as your working theory that possibly this isn't where you're supposed to be today, right now?
I feel nodding.
And so that would mean to either go up or go down, but up is typically a more pleasant direction. To go either up through those rings of light or down.
I feel motion up.
I feel feet leaving.
That's true.
Now, to the presences who are still here, what we're supposed to be getting to is a sense of community where we are willing to take responsibility not only for ourselves but for the rest of us in this room, so that we all move as a group through this exercise. And that would require these
Wow.
scared people don't want to speak up against the big powerful people. I understand.
That's what this
All right, well, I'm not
feeling is.
going
That's true.
I'm not going to put you in that position. I understand that. All right. Now, friends, who has noticed that when we aren't in our right place, it can be difficult to tell what it is we're supposed to do? For example, if we know there's something we're supposed to do in the living room, but we're in the office, it's hard for us to remember what it is we're supposed to do in the living room, but then the moment we walk into the living room, that's correct, that's what I was supposed to do. Right?
Yes, lots of nodding.
Lots of nodding. That's a familiar experience. We know that experience.
Yes, lots of nodding.
Okay. This exercise, called All of Us to Our Right Places, is an exercise that our Ra used to lead in the Search for Truth effort a year and 2 years, many years ago.
That's true.
Who would like to participate in our Ra's exercise of all of us to our right places?
Nodding, lots of nodding.